Chris, how are you?
Very good, thanks.
How was the international break? Good?
Very nice, yeah. We had obviously a bit of training, a bit of time off, so and everyone kind of needs that after a long pre-season and a few games, so yeah, everyone's refreshed.
Just a first question on the injury front. How's Jay doing after he missed the Leicester game, and also Dimmy picked up that knock against Leicester? Mm-hmm. How is he?
Yeah, so Jay's been in kind of rehab since that knock, and he's done all his stuff that he's needed to do. He's getting there step by step, so he's close. We'll see how he goes in the next few days. And
Dimmy knocked to his shoulder against Leicester. Is he come through that okay?
Yeah, Dimmy's fine. He had that on his shoulder and it looked like it was a really sore one, but he got his treatment, and again that's done, recovered fine in the last week or so he's absolutely fine.
Has the international break been a good time to spend some quality time on the training pitch with the players that have been here?
Yeah, I mean, I've been really, happy with the way they've trained actually, because you can, sometimes because players go away, players stay, and sometimes the training can go down a bit, but they've been trained with real intent, purpose. Got some good fitness into some players that needed it. Worked on a few areas that are important for our game, and generally we've had a good block of training. So yeah, we're now ready for the games to begin.
We've had some players obviously away with their national team, some travelled to far-flung parts of the world. Is that going to factor into your decision making this weekend? Possibly,
yeah. I mean, they'll return for training session tomorrow, and we'll sort of see how they are presenting in terms of physically and mentally and how they are. But there's been a lot of travel, definitely. So it's definitely something I have to factor into my decision making.
Looking ahead now, Stoke on the weekend. They've won 3 of the first 4 games, had a really positive start to the season, and again another tough test, as you always say in the Championship.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen all their games. Good team, yeah, definitely a good team. It doesn't matter how good the team is. Stoke away is a big battle anyway, and we're going to have to be ready for that at that stadium, and that's the kind of place it is. So we need to be ready for it. But they've been good. They started really well, strong. They try to play good footballing team. Industrious, hard-working team as well. On top of that, and they've got the quality, attacking quality in the wingers and the strikers. So yeah, it's they have a strong start, and you can see why.
Has this break given you a chance to maybe look at the first block of games we've had and reflect a little bit on what has been a pretty positive start for everyone?
Yeah, I have. I think it's been a solid start. I wanted to see how we went for those first 4 games. Obviously, you never want to go into an international break on a defeat. That's always a bit of a bad taste, and it can linger on. But what I have seen and looked back on and reflected on is that we have made a solid start. I think especially defensively, we conceded 2 goals, but we've given very little away. I think across the league, if you look at the sort of games, and the numbers behind that, we've given very few chances away to the opposition in all the games we've had. So we have looked solid in that respect, and all the underlying numbers point in that direction. We've stayed, clear in our identity in sense of we've pressed really successfully. We've dominated possession in I think every game. Had a lot of territory in those games. The final part that we've probably fallen a little bit short on is the chance creation / conversion. Again, not a unusual problem for teams that play our style of football. That's, I'd rather have kind of that problem than other ones. How can we make our dominance count more rather than how can we be dominant more? So we're doing the first bit. It's trying to make clearer and better chances from our open play attacks and our set pieces. And I think if we'd had that, then we would have had a near perfect start. So it's just something that I'm conscious of. We keep working on, and that I'm sure will come. But the sort of foundation of the game has been in place, and I've been happy with.
And when you talk about chances and conversion rates, is there anything else in these next block of games now that you want to see from the team?
Yeah, I think we have to continue with the way we started. As I said, if you'd have said to me at the start, you've played like that in the games, I'd have been really happy. So we have to maintain our level, our intensity, our work ethic, our solidity, and I think in the final phase when we get there, we need to show our qualities, in terms of crosses, combinations to create chances, and punishing teams from set piece opportunities. So they're all things that we have obviously the players to do that, and they've all been working well, But as I said to them earlier in the week, every single one of them can improve. to a man. So we have to try and do it.
The transfer window closed with the additions of Patrick Roberts and Jack Robinson. Can you just give a little bit of insight into those two players and what you hope that they're going to bring to the squad?
Yeah, so I'll start with Patrick. He, someone I've worked with previously at Celtic for 2 years. He was young. That was 2016 so yeah, nearly a decade ago. But he was real talent coming out of Man City on loan. Did well at Celtic till a bad injury sort of knocked him, but yeah, really creative force. You know, he's a bit of a maverick. He's hard to stop when he gets into his flow, moves well with the ball. He can see a pass, likes to cut in obviously on that left foot. And he's really earned his stripes in terms of doing the work for Sunderland over these years, working defensively, doing his job for the team, and obviously having great success last season. So, you know, he's had a long road. He's worked hard along the way, and he's coming here to really show again what he can do. Felt his chances would be too limited at Sunderland, but so kind of graciously moved on to a different opportunity. But I'm really pleased that he's joined us. Jack Robinson, someone I've known even longer because he was at Liverpool when I was there. We gave him his debut. That was 2012, I think, so that's a long time ago. But so I've always sort of seen Jack along the road at different games and different times, and I've admired the way he's gone about his career. Real honest competitor, fierce competitor, strong, robust, can play left back and centre back equally as well. So and a lot of experience. So yeah, two players that can add to our squad.
Did both of them individually have maybe different things that we currently didn't have in that squad? When you look at Patrick, the way he comes in from that right-hand side, left-footed player as well, probably just adds something that we maybe didn't have in an attacking sense. And obviously Jack coming in with his experience and being a core British player as well.
Definitely, I think that's very good. That last point you made is an important one because you do need that core of British players. I was conscious of that. Jack gives us height as a hybrid position, left back, centre back. So there's something that we didn't have, and obviously like the experience levels in the Championship. And Patrick does give us something different. He's different to Kieran Dow, very different actually as the way they play. But Kieran at the time he came in gave us something a little bit different in terms of his craft. And I think Patrick in a different way will also do that.
We also had some outgoings as well at the end of the window. A couple of young players out on loan, and Taylor's obviously gone to Blackburn. I assume you had conversations with those players and it was in the best interest of everyone to maybe get that game time elsewhere. Yeah,
definitely. I mean, I've tried to respect all the players along the way, train with them and work with them, and Taylor was a bit like Alfie in the sense it's hard to see them go when they're like that. They've been such loyal servants, contributed greatly to the success. Both players scored the goals in the game that got us promoted. But Taylor saw that he was going to get limited game time. We brought in another right back where he played a lot last season, and we brought in more midfielders, and he could even play wide, but we brought in wingers. So in the end, Taylor felt it was best for him to go and play. I think he's secured himself a really good move, which he deserves, and I wish him all the very best because he's been a great servant to this club. And then you look at someone like George Hall, who's gone to, you know, great opportunity there for him. I think that's a good move for him to go and play. And I'm sure he's going to do well. I think he's had a really good pre-season, and you know, I wish him the best. A great character, and Changi exactly the same. You know, the first thing is the person, and you know, coming through the club, they've produced some really good young men there that, you know, hard working, very diligent in what they do, and humble. And I think Changi again, hopefully, can stay fit because he's you know, good midfield player. If he can keep himself fit and go on a run of games. So we always wish them the best.
Last one from me, Chris. It's another sold out away end at the Bet365 on Saturday. Just for sort of added context, I think we've sold out every fixture so far this season, home and away. Does that just underline the growing connection between the players and what's happening on the pitch and off the pitch as well?
It does. I think it's an amazing thing. I often have noticed that. I mean, I watch a lot of games analysing opposition, and I always look at grounds and think that's not empty, ours is always full. Or that's slightly empty, ours is always full. And then look at away ends, and I always think we would fill that out. So I suppose in some ways you shouldn't take it for granted, but shows the size of the club, the size of the support, the commitment of the support, and you know, we need to repay that with our performances.
Good luck.
Thank you.